Hey, hi everybody. If you're watching this, it's because I'm not in the classroom this morning, but I will be here before the end of the class period today. So make sure you're focused and paying attention today and working independently until I get to the classroom so that we can move forward from here. This is going to be part of your final, this actually is your final grade for this grading period. So I hope you can take that seriously. Um, let's take a look at what we're going to be creating. So we're going to be creating 10 different instances of your name, your first and last name, and the words multimedia one as well. And what I want you to notice here is that in each one, there's a different font used for each one, different style. I'll show you some of the tricks that I'm doing here to make some of the color things pop out. And then we're working with a different type of text to write the words multimedia one. And if you'll notice, like in multimedia one here and here, they're all different from each other. So these are different typefaces, and then these have different width in between the letters here. And I'm going to show you how to adjust these things. And then finally, everything's aligned. So this one's lined up on the left-hand side. This one's lined up on the right-hand. It's staggered, but then this one's lined up on the right-hand side. Same here. This one's in the center here. And then this one is lined up with the top and bottom going sideways. So that's kind of a different trick. Let's get into this right now and go ahead and start making the project. So we're going to go to the File menu in Illustrator. You want to make sure you have your Properties tab. Let me stop just for a second. You want to make sure you have your Properties tab open and the layers open and your tools. And if you're missing any of these things, go up to the Window menu, go to Toolbars, select either Advanced or Basic. It doesn't really matter at this point. I would probably just stick with the Basic. Yeah, let's stick with the Basic for now. And then Window, Layers, and Window Properties, and you'll get all those things out on your screen. We're going to go to the File menu and create a new. And from the top, we can choose Print as our preset. This is a letter size. That's a standard sheet of paper. And then we're going to name it. What's in a name? No question mark at the end, just for your information, because you can't save files with a question mark in them. The other thing we're going to do is modify the orientation from from portrait mode to landscape mode. So make sure this one's highlighted in blue right here. And then finally, make sure it says CMYK color. That's the only thing it should be. Raster effects, 300 pixels per inch, and then press create. And this is what we'll get, just a blank artboard. And then we're going to start working with the type tool. So the type tool is this one. And if you click on it and hold down, you'll see there's some other tools underneath it. But we're just going to use the basic type tool for now. And there's two ways you can make type. You can click and drag to make type, which creates a text box. And then all your text is limited to what's inside of this box. No matter how much you change the size of it, it will only show up inside of that box right there. That's not what we're trying to do with this project yet. So instead, what we're going to do is grab the type tool and we're just going to click one time. And then we're going to type your first name. You can do all caps or you can do first cap and then lowercase. But I do want that first name to be capitalized. It's your name. It's a proper noun. It should be capitalized. And then we'll look in our Properties tab here. Sorry, let me go too fast. Let me go back here. We're going to switch tools to the black arrow, the selection tool, and then we're going to click on the text to highlight it. So one thing I might have gone over too quickly there is just how to exit out of this. So I'm going to type my last name, and then you'll notice if I switch tools, the text becomes selected. Okay. Now what we can do is, I'm going to delete that one and just work with this one. Change the size of it. So there's two ways you can go about it. You can just put your cursor in here and drag your finger over this and change the size. I'm going to go to about 100 points right here. That looks fine for this demonstration. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the font. So right here in the Properties tab where the characters are, you can go in here. Now I have a bunch that I've already downloaded, and I'm going to show you how to get some other cool ones in here too. But for right now, things that you can do is go through and look and see what's in here by default and see what you can find that matches your name. Some of these you'll notice like work a lot better if you use upper and lowercase. Like this one right here, it looks cool. This is called Black Sword. It's one I have downloaded, but it doesn't look great all caps. like that's not really how it's supposed to read. The letters overlap each other. They kind of like, it just doesn't work out that way. So instead, I'm going to use a combination of upper and lowercase. See, these look like they run right together as if they were handwritten script, and it's designed to work that way. So think about that as you're designing. Okay. Here's the next step. So you're going to choose that font. You go through here, whatever you want. You know, it's your style. You know, think about what your text fashion style is. Maybe it's, you know, I'll do something goofy like this. Um, and then what we can do, and this is a cool trick, okay, with the selection tool selected, hold the Option key down. You'll see the arrow change. Watch. When I hold the Option key down, it changes to 2 arrows. Click and drag down. Leave your finger on the Option key and let go of the mouse, and you will make a copy of that text. Now, if you double click into that text or triple click, you can just edit it. You don't even have to backspace. You can just edit it. And so now we have your first and last name. Okay. The next step of this is to decide, like, where do all these letters, what looks best here? Does it look best centered like this? Do we want to kind of like offset the text a little bit? Should it go side by side? Should it be, you know, there's all kinds of choices that we can make here to align this text. Maybe, you know, maybe there's no alignment in this particular one. Maybe it's the other text that's going to line up. So in this one, you know, maybe we could do. I'll just, yeah, I like this space right here. The R seems to fit into that space, and I like how the R above it connects to the S below it. That's kind of cool. There's a connection between the two. Notice how I can click and drag to select both of those with the black arrow selected. I can draw a box around them, and then I can move them both at the same time. I'm going to add one more piece of text to this. So type tool again. This time I'm just going to click one time, and I'm going to type multimedia, give it a space, and ONE, or you can use the number 1 or whatever you want. But we're going to do it in a different font. Okay, so we're going to do it in a font. If we click on filters right here, I want you to choose a font that's called a sans serif font for this one. So we're going to click this little filter right here, and it's going to show you all the different sans serif fonts that are installed on your computer right now. Choose one of these to write the words Multimedia 1. And I'm trying to make it not compete with my name. So if I choose a font that's bigger and bolder and heavier than the one that I used in my name, it's not going to, it's going to take away from me looking at your name, which is the thing that I'm really after. Now, check this out. This is a cool one too. We want to line it up with something in this. So you can either choose the first word there. See that green line that's showing up there? That green line says that's lined up with the edge of the letter M right there. And so that'll tell you that you're aligned at this point. And the next thing we can do is we can adjust this number right here. And if you put your cursor right here, you'll see the tracking in between the two letters expand, right? And so then I can come up with a design that's unique. You don't have to do that. You could actually pull them closer together even. That's a possibility also. This is just different ways of working with tracking. And then maybe line it up on the far side here. Notice I didn't get that that green line because it only comes from the beginning of the text, which is unfortunate, but we can see visually we can align those things over here. Or, you know, maybe there's somewhere where it fits in here. I like how the C and the R line up together there. That's kind of interesting. Or maybe in this space right here. So if I work things around a little bit, I might be able to find like a sweet spot for this to be. At this point, I think I'm going to go with this down here, and I'm going to adjust the tracking because this is one of the things that I like to do. I think I'm going to go in this space right here. So inside the letter R, and the word and the letter S, so inside the R and the S. Now, last things I could do here. Actually, you know what? Before we get into color, let me just teach you this. So we want to select all three of these things here. And then what you'll notice is when you have more than one object selected in the Properties tab, you get these quick actions. And we're going to group these together. If you just click that button, these guys become a group. And if we look in layers, you'll see that we have a group, and that group acts like one object, although it's made up of, in this case, three different objects here. So you can just, the cool part about that is you can just click on this whole thing, and then the whole thing, whoops, psych, unless you double click on them. If you single click on them, they'll move around as an object. When you double click, this is a good thing to know. When you double click, you can interact with just the individual pieces of a group, but you're in what's called isolation mode. And if you want to exit out of this, just hit the escape key on your keyboard or hit this arrow until it goes back to here, and then you're back to the group. Now, next step, hold the shift key down, click and drag, keep your finger on the shift key, let go of the mouse, and you will have your first design. We can copy this whole design right here, holding the option key down, clicking and dragging to the right, keep your finger on the option key, let go of the mouse. And then let's ungroup this stuff in this set. So now I have the two groups. I'm going to go down here to the properties panel and hit ungroup. And now we have all of these different elements from this one. And I can do something simple, just like go in and let's try a different set, you know. So what else do we have? I'm going to look at my my different fonts that I have installed here. Let's do this one. Actually, I'm going to do this one. I don't like the lowercase here, so I'm going to switch this. I mean the uppercase, so I'm going to make it like this. By the way, hitting the escape key can also get you out of that type tool as well. I'm going to do this one a little bit more like this, where they're close together. With the M and Mr. slid over a little bit. You can fine-tune adjustments by using the arrow keys on your keyboard as well, just tapping on them up, down, left, right. You can move in increments there. And then I'm going to switch this one too. So going back to sans serif fonts, let's try this one. That one's cool with this one. Whoops. And then I think, oops, I think I changed it back. I did. Bebas New. That's one of my fonts that I have. It's one of my favorites. I'm gonna select this one. Let's increase the tracking. Let's line it up. I'm gonna line it up to the M in Mr. That has a nice centered kind of feel to it. How close do I want it to get? Whoops, don't forget Command 0. And then you can use your magnifying glass to zoom in on an area. And then, yeah, how will I design Multimedia 1? There it is. I like it in line with the M right there. And Mr. Cross. Okay, select them, group them. You can also, shortcut for a group is Command G. Hold the option key down, click and drag to the right, ungroup it, repeat the process, grab a new font, whatever you want. Cross Mr. I wonder if I'd selected it the other way. Oh, it's because of the order of the layers. If I change the order of the layers, I think when I see this, yep, Mr. Cross, there it is. Yeah, just find the new one. What else do you want to do? And I'll show you how to get more fonts when I get into class, okay? I like this one right here. This is groovy. And let's do some alignment, okay? Let's talk about aligning for a second. So I'm going to select both of these pieces here. And when you have two or more things selected in the Properties tab, you get this panel that shows up, the Alignment panel. And if you click this button right here, oh, well, let's go through all of them. So the one on the left says, line up their left-hand side. This one says line up their centers. They're lining up these two anchor points right here, or line up their right-hand sides. You can also line up their tops, middles, and bottoms vertically, but if we do that right now, they just overlap each other like this, right? So I'm going to undo that, and I'm just going to line them up like this, and then I'm going to take this, and let's select all three of those things and line them up to each other. I'm going to use the arrow keys to tap this one up and then change the format, change the font. Let's go here again, and let's go all of them. And it's cool because if you just drag your cursor over the top of these, you'll see them change. You'll see the text change on your project. Let me use this one. Let's adjust the tracking. But first, let me line it up to that C, and then we'll adjust the tracking. Bam. Just like that. Oh, that's a cool one. I like that. Okay, so your job is to make 10 of these, and we're going to lay them out. They're going to wind up looking like this eventually, and then we're going to pick your best one, and that's going to become your design for the center. So I should be into the class soon enough for you guys to be able to show me what you've worked on so far. And I would say you should be about midway into your project by the time I get in, but that might be a little bit. You should have at least 3 done by the time I get in. Okay, so I'll see you soon, and don't forget to put in your best work, okay? Bye.